weapons development program. Look it up on your little thing there.
God, what a cool name.
Right?
No, I believe there's something there. I like some of the things I've heard, like there's something there.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
things
Now,
that are
what it is, I
unexplainable.
don't know if anybody knows that answer. I certainly don't. I can't say, no, oh, it works this way and that way. And there's other people that tell you, hey, methods vary.
Yeah.
You know, what works for me may not work for you, and what works for you may not work for me. You know, there's a time when they used to do ideograms, and that didn't do crap for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it was not helpful at all. Never worked for me.
There's something, you know, I'm more open-minded on not necessarily like remote viewing itself, but like this whole subcategory of what the capabilities of our consciousness is because
Well,
of...
you remember the oracles of Delphi, right? I mean,
Wait, yes, I do know that name. What is that name?
Yeah, these were the ancient soothsayers, and beware the Ides of March, right?
Yes, yeah.
You know, this is nothing new. Remote viewing has been in practice for a long time by countries and governments and militaries spanning thousands of years.
Yeah.
You can call it what you want, but you know, remote viewing today, or a soothsaying yesterday, or the oracles of Delphi, or Nostradamus, or you know, whatever you want to put in there term, but it's all maybe describing the same thing.
Sure.
You know.
Have you seen this podcast that went viral from the fall called the Telepathy tapes?
I have not seen it, and I haven't on purpose.
Or heard it, I should say.
I heard of it, but I have not at all listened to it, and I did on purpose because I don't want to. I want to be careful. I don't prejudice the jury, so to speak. Meaning, I don't want to have someone else's analytic overlay subconsciously be incorporated by me.
Okay.
So,
have you talked with people about this though? At
about
all?
the telepathy tapes,
Yeah,
I have
like
not.
not okay.
No.
So it has warped my mind a little bit just because of the way that this woman, Kai Dickens, was able to gather some of this data. Essentially, and I'm really dumbing this down here, like it's an amazing series. I highly recommend everyone go listen to the full thing. But she had heard about all these reports from people around the world who were reporting how their autistic, nonverbal kids or brother or whatever could communicate telepathically. And you hear that and you're like, oh yeah, okay. And then you hear some of the experiments she did with, you know, a doctor on site, a scientist on site, these double-blind, I'm getting some of the terminology wrong, but these things she did where these kids seem like they can do that. And it makes you wonder if...
Oh, brother! I mean, the Russians had the psychotronic weapons development program. I mean,
what's that?
That is using creating technology to amplify brain capability to affect change, matter in physical change in things. So,
how effective was it?
Type it up. You tell me.
Okay, what's it called again?
Russian psychotronic weapons development program. Look it up on your little thing there.
God, what a cool name. Russian psychotronic weapons development program. Oh, that's a Bond movie. All right, zombie ray gun program. Does that ring a bell?
I mean, go right there. It's KGB and Soviet. Go down to about 3. See, it's CIA. There you go. That's from the CIA, not Lou Elizondo. So you can read it for yourself.
You got to zoom in a little bit or less. That's really small. All right, go up. All right, psychotronic weapon dupes, KGB and Soviet military highlights of foreign ground combat developments. In a 21 April 1993 Literaturnaya Gazeta interview, Yevgeny Alexandrov of the Villanova Optical Institute revealed that experiments conducted in the former Soviet Union on mind-altering weapons were largely a hoax intended to milk millions of rubles from the KGB and the military. Alexandrov, in commenting on the validity of psychotronic weapons research, stated, "The whole thing was a grandiose snow job, a monstrous squandering of the national wealth. This work, fortunately for humanity, did not have any real content. It was an imitation of work science like shamanism. The military and KGB were simply taken for a ride."
So this is important because this shows definitively that not only were the Russians investing in this, but it's enough interest in the CIA that we actually reported on it, right?
But they got duped.
Well, okay, so this is a report that's saying they got duped. You'll see other reports where they say they didn't get duped. The Russians say, no, it actually worked quite well. We had our own psychotronic weapons development program because of it. So yes, that's right. So because the Russians were doing it, we did it too. So it's important to note that, like, for example, go to Yeah, there you go. Weird Russian wired. Weird Russian mind control research behind it. To go down a little bit. Yeah, one more. There, hit that.
The weird Russian mind control research behind a DHS contract, a dungeon-like room in the Psychotechnology Research Institute in Moscow is used for human testing. The institute claims its technology can read the subconscious mind and alter behavior. A dungeon-like room in... All right, so Elena Rusakina, the silver-haired woman who runs the institute, gestured to the center of the claustrophobic room where what looked like a dentist chair sits in front of a glowing computer monitor. We've had volunteers, a lot of them, she said. The thick concrete was muffling the noise from the college campus outside. We worked out a program, a psychiatric facility to study criminals. There's no way to falsify the results. There's no subjectivism. Right. The Department of Homeland Security has gone to many strange places in search for ways to identify terrorists before they attack, but perhaps none stranger than this lab on the outskirts of Russia's capital. The institute has for years served as the center of an obscure field of human behavior study dubbed psychoecology that traces its roots back to Soviet-era mind control research.
So my point is that people took this enough seriously, not just in Russia, but the U.S.
Yeah.
Okay, so when people say, oh, Lou, this is nonsense, don't blame me. We spent taxpayer money on it. That wasn't my decision to do that. People like to kind of paint me with a broad brush and say, well, it's a bunch of hooey. That wasn't my decision to do that. I had no, those decisions were made by very, very senior people that thought it was worth investing in, right? So, maybe the execution could have been better. I don't know, but the bottom line is that there is enough there to say, hey, maybe we should look into this a little bit, right? Maybe there's something there. But again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you how. I don't know, But if someone comes up to you and says, hey, Julian, I had this weird feeling that you were a BMXer as a kid. You liked bikes and wanted to do BMX riding and maybe do some racing. And I have this clear image of you, doing X, Y, and Z. And if that's information that only you know, and you've never told me or anybody else about that, right? Then you got to say, oh, well, that's interesting. How would you know that? And what did you see? Is there any accuracy there, right? So I think, I guess the bottom line for me is that I always try to keep an open mind to everything. And there's a whole lot of mystery behind the human being, right? And if you look at us, whether genetically or anything else, we are very unique. And I personally believe, when we get into the discussion of what people consider paranormal, I think everything in science is technically paranormal until it becomes normal. Meaning my cell phone here, all the things that we take for granted, right? The technology we use today, at some point in time, we're considered very paranormal. Yeah. And I think it's really our lack of understanding and our bias to try to things that we don't understand, we kind of pigeonhole them as being weird or odd. When really it's our naivety, really, because it's not, and this goes into the bigger psychological issue of human beings. We like everything in a nice, neat little box. We like to know where we are. And that's why when people look at the pale blue dot picture, they get freaked out. Yep. That's why if you look at the way cities, the new cities are all north, south, east, west grid lines. And I live in the southwest part of town on Street 32. I would drive down the highway, speed limit 65, no passing lane. We like rules. We like boundaries to know where we are. And society does that innately. We build these barriers on purpose so we can feel comfortable and we know kind of where we are in the world, right? When you remove that, human beings get very insecure. And if there's something happening that we don't understand, whether it's a comet in the sky and we want to say it's the Lord of the underworld that's coming in to show us who they are, or an earthquake, right? The gods must be angry. No, it's actually just based in science. What's paranormal is our lack of understanding of the science. And I think that's the same true with human psychology. I think it's true with topics like remote viewing. Yeah. Our understanding hasn't caught up with yet the reality of what something is. And so it creates this internal angst as a species and as individuals.
I'm open to that for sure. Lou, real quick, I got to run to the bathroom, but I think
I do too. So I'll wait till you're done.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do a Patreon episode right after this. Sure. I think we'll cut that there. But your book imminent. As always, we'll have the link. We'll have the link down below. People can go get it there. It's a very good book, and I appreciate you doing round two with me.
Absolutely, my honor and privilege, man. And listen, you guys are doing a great job. And even a bigger thanks to your audience. Yes, and even the ones that hate me, that's fine. Because we're having a conversation here that's collectively about all of us and involves all of us. And so I think you're doing a great service, you and your production team.
Me and Leslie.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say you have the shoes.
That's the team.
Too. I know. And you guys are killing, doing a great
It's
job.
an underdog operation.
Yeah. Yeah.
But thank you for
I'd
coming.
say a big dog operation. But
I appreciate you, Lou. I appreciate you coming through and getting this done again. I know you got snowed in last time. So
yeah,
I
I'm
appreciate
sorry
you
about
rescheduling.
that.
No,
but,
it's all good.
I promised you I'd come back out.
You
so.
came right out. I really appreciate that. But we'll have the Patreon episode as well, so people can get that link down below. Everybody else, you know what it is. Give it a thought. Get back to me. Peace. Thank you for watching the video, guys. If you haven't already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.